Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom. I am, of course, your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and hopefully you have a nice cup of coffee already in you after last night's very long and, quite frankly, spectacular Game Awards 2021. The little engine that could pulled out a major victory last night. Of course, we're going to talk about who won the big award. We're going to talk about some of the awards that were doled out. We're going to talk about some of the big reveals, and quite frankly, there were a lot of them. But before we get into all that, I want to introduce the panel. And we're going to start first with our guest. You know him as the cog that keeps these shows running, the bravest man in gaming. And yes, he can make an awesome chocolate pie. Semi Games. What's up, brother? Welcome back.
You keep bringing up that chocolate pie, and I have yet to make another one. I need
Damn
to do
you.
that. I just don't want to get any fatter. No, man, super excited to be here, back on the show that started my whole journey in podcasting. So, thank you for throwing out that invite yesterday. I know you could tell my excitement levels from watching the Game Awards, and
Yes.
so I appreciate the invite, man. Thanks.
Well, it's great to have you here, brother, and definitely appreciate you coming back to your roots where you started. Of course, next up, Fuzzy Belvedere. He has become basically just a full-time member at this point because he's here almost every other week. But we're glad to have him because he brings a tremendous amount of insight to his opinions. Fuzzy, how the heck are you, man? And welcome back.
Thank you. I'm doing good. Greatly appreciate the invite, man. Some exciting stuff last night. Can't wait to talk about it, man.
Oh,
It's future's looking bright on the Xbox side.
It absolutely is, and obviously, we're going to talk about some of the big things happening for Xbox, but of course, just in gaming in general, especially in the third-party market, man, there was some major reveals. Nintendo, based on that little trailer that they showed, they're going to have a big 2022, and we're very excited for that. But welcoming them back, the nasty one known as Noof Nukem. What's up, brother? How are you, man? And how the heck have you been?
Boom, boom, kaboom, baby. Noof Nukem is in the Breakfast with Boom podcast. Good morning, everybody. Yes, I am doing well as can be, and it's a pleasure to be here. Man, I think the Game Awards just ended like 5 minutes ago, did they not?
It was a long show for sure. There's no doubt about it, but we're glad that you're here. And
Thanks,
folks, if you
Appreciate
didn't
it.
know, I am going to be guest appearing on Noof's Good Morning Xbox on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to hear some more insight to him and his panel about the Game Awards and a few other topics, tune in and show him some support. Sub to his channel, of course, and obviously tune in for what's going to be an incredible podcast. Folks, you're going to get some Halo Infinite campaign throughout today's show. There are no spoilers. This is just me in the open world trying to collect Spartan cores, high value targets, and of course save a bunch of Marines. So there'll be nothing spoiled for you. But let's continue with introductions. And next up, these are our regular panel members. Dreadpool, good morning. And what have you had for breakfast, bro?
Good morning, everyone. All right, what I've had for breakfast is I made my own, Egg McMuffins.
Oh, okay. There you go with your bad self.
Yeah, you can't have the store branded stuff that you buy already made. You got to make it yourself.
It is fun to
pop
make
it off the way you want it
as well.
Yes, tastier and butterier.
Yeah,
more butter.
Butter is the secret of life, folks. If you didn't know, ask any chef; he'll tell you.
So, but just having a great time. Yeah, we can get into my thoughts later about last night.
Yeah, well, we're gonna break it down. And last and no way least, the best voice in the business. He hasn't admitted it yet, but he's gonna be in Gear 6. I know it. Welcome back, Crispy Bomb. How are you, bro?
Man, it's just it was a great night, very long one.
It was long.
I
It was
feel
long.
I feel bad for anybody that let their kids. They're like, oh, you can watch the whole thing because my girl's son who was really excited. I mean, a few games that we're going to get into, but he was super excited about a few, especially Cuphead. He loves that game, so to get that DLC, he's looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, he was up until like almost 12. Like he does not stay up that late, so he was probably hurting this morning. I didn't get to see him, but I at least got to sleep a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Jeff, I'm surprised you didn't have a world premiere voice up in there. I mean, that's the but you could have just threw me in there, just throw my name out there. That's it. You didn't even have to pay me. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, listen, folks, let's rip the band-aid right off and get right into it. Yesterday, Jeff Keighley and his crew put on the Game Awards 2021. Leading into this show, like many shows before it, there was some controversy. Obviously, a lot of people like myself felt a little, I guess you can say, as a kid, we felt the type of way about the inclusion or not inclusion of Forza Horizon 5 in the game of the year category. But again, listen, it is what it is. Overall, I thought it was a very solid show. I thought it was probably one of the best one in years, in my opinion, simply because of the way the production values as these shows go on continue to grow. And I must tip my hat to Jeff and his team that put on the. I mean, listen, folks. Honestly, as great as E3 is, and I've been fortunate to go to at least one, and hopefully I will be going next year as well. This event has become the biggest one of the entire year. Everyone looks forward to it. The world premieres is what everyone wants and hopes, and we got a lot of them. We're gonna break that down. But there are two things that I want to congratulate Jeff for doing. And these are things that I don't think you're going to hear on any other podcast. I took a significant amount of notes to make sure that I got it right. The first thing, and this is incredibly important, was the original soundtrack for the event. The music that was being used in the background was copyright free, meaning that no one that streamed it live would be hit with a copyright claim. Not so much a strike, because the strikes they don't really do. They usually just do the claim. And what that means is, as a YouTuber, let's say, for instance, you had 15, 20, 25,000 views. Well, YouTube pays you a certain amount of money per 1,000 views, and when you get a claim, those things get immediately removed. You don't get any of that, any of those money. So what he did is he went out of his way to make sure that all the music being used was free of copyright claims and strikes. I think that I have to applaud him for that. That is huge. As someone like myself who has covered numerous events, Sony, Microsoft. I don't cover Nintendo because it's almost you're going to get guaranteed to get a claim or a strike by them because they're just vicious. Even Xbox, the last two Xbox events I covered, I wound up getting a claim because of copyrighted music, and I wind up losing potential thousands and thousands of views. That I get credit for the views. I don't get any monetary value on the back end. And that sucks when you work hard to put these shows together. That's why I don't cover the Microsoft events anymore, because they just, they do what they can. But what Jeff did is, I think, what everyone needs to do moving forward. And that was the first thing. And the second thing, and of course, again, like I every time there's a Game Awards, there's always going to be some sort of controversy in one way or another. It's been like that for the last 4 or 5 years, and this one was no different. And besides the Forza snub, which a lot of people were angered by, there was a story that was written by several websites. I did not make a comment on it because everyone's entitled to run their business how they're going to run it, and the Game Awards, at the end of the day, folks, is a business. And people wanted Jeff to make a statement against Activision regarding the sexual misconduct allegations and everything that's going on with that company. This is both, it's been going on for quite some time. And he did not. He said, he made a statement that was not what a lot of people wanted. I got to tip my cap to Jeff. What he wound up doing is he did mention it. He kept it extremely general. He said, he talked about the industry as a whole and how bullying and misconduct is not going to be accepted, and that we need to make big change. And I thought that was the proper way to handle it, because, like I said, I have come out publicly against Blizzard and Activision, but no one gives a shit. Double Barrel Gaming, it's not going to affect me. And even if it did, I would still come out against them. If, let's say, for instance, I had partnered with someone, they were like, "Hey, listen, boom, we didn't like you did that," then I'd rather just take the L and not get any money on a partnership. I'm going to stand up for what's right. But I understand from his point of view that it's a monster business practice that's going on behind the scenes, folks. At the end of the day, these, as much as we look to these as our fun because we love gaming, it is a business. So he did handle it in a proper manner. He did make mention of it. I thought it was good enough to let the industry know that we're watching, and that we're gonna, that we're going to continue to monitor these kinds of situations. And you're going to see more and more whistleblowers. No one's going to sit in closets and cry and go into their desks and cry anymore, because there's no need for that kind of behavior. Not in the world that we currently live in. It's unacceptable on every level. And like I said, eventually we're going to see big changes coming to both of those companies. And first and foremost, I believe it's going to be the firing or stepping down of the head of Activision, which he's a piece of shit, so I don't care. But listen, let's get into why the 200 plus people are here. And folks, we're here to talk about the Game Awards, but we have to open up today's show with what everyone is calling the game of the show, and that is Hellblade 2: Senua's Saga. This game was first shown off at the Game Awards in 2019. It has made a triumphant return. Jeff Keighley made it his business to let everyone know multiple times. And of course, again, hats off to you, Jeff, that this was gameplay, actual gameplay, not in engine, not a CG trailer. And I mean, what can I say? It was glorious. Now, I don't think he's listening because he was up podcasting last night. I'm talking about Lord Cognito, my brother from the Iron Lords. He's been asking for the hashtag just one. And folks, I think we're going to get hashtag a lot coming from Microsoft Game Studios, but the hashtag just one came yesterday in a big way. Sammy, I want to start with you first. What they showed was magnificent. That's running on an Xbox Series X. It is, I would dare say, what Sony players have been experiencing for quite some time, that very cinematic, story-driven, over-the-shoulder kind of content that we have all asked for as Xbox gamers. And holy shit, we got it. So, Zemi, what are your thoughts on Ninja Theory showing off a significant, I mean, it wasn't just like a 30-second teaser and, they show Senua's face and she goes. There was a whole thing with that giant that looked gross. What do you think?
Yeah, I was confused. Do you think that giant has legs? Like,
I don't think he does. I think he's missing half his body, to be honest.
I mean, because he was doing a great job swimming in that ocean with no legs. That's all I'm gonna say. No, I thought it was fantastic. I really did, and I definitely think that the whole just one kind of sentiment for having PlayStation like games on the Xbox system. I think that there's definitely going to be more than just one, but I think that. Sure. Ninja Theory's Hellblade, Senua's Saga is going to be the first taste that we get of that. And, like Jeff Keighley said, that was actual gameplay, not, CGI renderings or, in-engine footage or anything like that. It was actual gameplay. And, if, even if it just looked half as good as what we saw, that would be a fantastic game to play. But honestly, I'm super super excited for Hellblade. Even though I don't like the scary games, which Hellblade kind of scared the crap out of me at certain points. It was not the most pleasant experience, emotionally that I went through. But I really am looking forward to the second Hellblade and to really see where they expand the series and go with it. It kind of looks like you're going to be playing with maybe a group of pick soldiers, which I thought was kind of interesting. I hadn't seen that yet before, or that be communicated to the players yet. So I think that's really really interesting, because the very first game you were just kind of by yourself. So I'm really interested to see where they go with that, with that gameplay mechanic. Are you going to be fighting, several large monsters and like a squad with, other NPCs to help you that you can interact with and stuff? Or is that just, one major moment in the game where that's actually illustrated? I don't know. Overall, I thought that the game looked fantastic. Bar none, probably the best looking game, graphically, that was showed off at the Game Awards this year.
Absolutely, and I wholeheartedly agree. I thought it was I mean, everything I could have asked for. I think anyone could have asked for. Hey, what's going on with Hellblade 2? Here you go. Shout out to Taylor Blaze in the chat. He says 6+ minutes of pure gameplay. Yep. I mean, well, you can't argue with that. Strangely, Roshan E in the chat says, where is the gameplay? The walking? The POV doesn't look like gameplay to me. I know that the Series X can do that, but where is she being controlled? I saw several times where you saw that she was being controlled.
Yeah, like whenever she's running away from the giant, that's definitely
or
a
even
section
throwing
of the
the
game.
spear.
Yeah, those are definitely sections of the game. I mean, because see, the funny thing about Hellblade is that there's if I'm not mistaken, there's not a ton of UI on the screen for you to like see and stuff. Like even whenever you're taking damage, like I don't think that there's actually a health bar, if I remember correctly. So there's a lot of sections that really kind of don't look like they should be gameplay, but they really are. I remember whenever I played Hellblade the first time, there were several moments where I could actually move the character and play, but like I didn't even know, like I wasn't even paying attention, and so my character was just standing there like doing nothing. So a lot of that was gameplay for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's bring in some of the guests. We'll start. Noof, I want to get your opinion on this. Now, obviously, you have an Xbox show, same as I do with the Xbox Factor podcast, and obviously we love Xbox.
Yeah.
Did Ninja Theory do enough for you to show you about Hellblade 2? And is this what gamers have been asking for?
Look, simple as this. I think we might have had a small inkling that we might see something, but I don't think any of us really did expect to see anything. They've been relatively quiet and stuff like that. We know this is going to be a big game for them coming off the highly successful first game. And, like I said, it's funny how the fan bases have completely switched, because when it was, AKA a PlayStation exclusive for a while, it was this highly touted, oh my God, you got to play Hellblade. It really sucks that Xbox doesn't have it, blah, 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 blah. And we heard this, that mantra for so long. The moment Xbox finally got that game, Hellblade's not that good. It doesn't look all that great. God of War is so much better, blah, blah, blah. And you just heard the numerous complaints about it. I mean, again, the fanboy stuff coming out at the largest scale. Look, let's just face it. They were salty the moment Ninja Theory was announced as going to be a first-party Xbox studio, and rightfully so. I mean, it kind of sucks if you're stuck to one ecosystem and you're a big fan of their work. Sure, it totally sucks. I get it. I'd feel the same way, but it still doesn't detract from the fact that Hellblade is a phenomenal game. It set so many precedents. It was an amazing looking game back in, I think, what was it, 2017 when it came out, 2016, 2017, and it still looks amazing. Play it now, it still looks amazing. The few gripes I heard most people say about the original game, it certainly was not on its graphics, sound, or presentation. It was Again, it usually came down to either the puzzles were a little bit annoying or the combat itself was a little bit linear or a little bit lackluster. Now, I don't think a lot of people, at least this is how I interpret the combat, was very purposeful, meaning the way that they set up the game was, one, to keep your enemies in front of you, two, to make the sword fighting feel weighty, not just, constantly hit something and then do a barrel roll across the ground like you see so many games that do it now. Oh, slash twice, then roll, slash 3 or 4 times, roll. Like, who the hell sword fights and rolls all over the freaking ground? I mean, nobody, right? Nobody would be swinging and rolling across the damn ground. So, that they try to keep grounded in some sense of realism, but of course it pissed people off, people that are so used to either Dark Souls games or other type of games of that nature, where it's constantly about rolling and strafing and this, that, and something else. At least that's how I perceived it. Okay. So I didn't have really an issue with the combat. Sure, there was a little bit of lack of enemies, but I'm pretty sure they're listening to us and they're going to fix that. Now, as far as just getting down to this game, it's a big game for Xbox, and it's the kind of game we've been wanting, not just from Ninja Theory, but essentially from any first party studio. It's to really show off why we've invested in these new consoles. It's a showcase piece. The last one essentially was a showcase piece for last gen hardware. This is a showcase piece for the current gen hardware. At least some of the things that it can do, and it's a testament to the talent of this studio. They're amazingly talented, and you know what? They were amazingly talented when they built that game. How many people before? Like a studio of less than 20 or some crap?
I think it was like 16 or between 16 and 20 people that made that the first one. Yeah.
Now they got that Microsoft money and they've expanded their staff. So just imagine. And they've heard the complaints and they're planning to fix them. I can just tell you this. I don't know what we saw, but I know it was, my eyeballs were blistering. That stuff was amazing. The facial animations, the cloth graphics, the physics, just the lighting. Obviously this giant dude crawling up out of the water was spooky as old crap, and like, I have high hopes for it, and so we should. I think they have high hopes for it, and I think Xbox wants this to be a pinnacle game in their portfolio moving forward. So they're going to put all the eggs in that basket and make sure that I think this one delivers. I highly think that it will, and like I said, it's awesome. It's a great time to be invested in the Xbox ecosystem, and guess what? If you got Game Pass, you can play it day one and at no extra charge. I mean, that's all. I'll leave it off and just say, man, I was blown away. Even if this was just a bit of a tech demo, it still tells you a lot. It still tells you where the end goal is, what they're aiming for, and what they're hoping to achieve. And if it's gameplay and it works out, and just remember as well, guys, you played the original Hellblade, there wasn't a HUD in that either. It was all, your life bar was actually on her arm. It was that black crap that went up her arm. So it was about sound. They used sound to correlate like enemies and where it was coming, and her voice too. Like when she got hurt, she would say stuff like when she was hurt, and you watch your arm, and that's what also brought you into the games. You weren't looking at little maps in the corner. You weren't looking at a life bar and a stamina gauge and all these types of things. They got rid of that in favor of, you had to pay attention to your character, both visually and audio cue wise, and that's what made Hellblade a real standout and a real winner. This one's going to be a winner too. I just know it in my bones, and looking forward to it whenever it drops. I think they're saying 2023.
Yes, I believe that's I wouldn't be surprised if it's first quarter. Gives them a whole all of 2022 to refine whatever they've been working on, because obviously lots of games were delayed due to the pandy. So it makes sense that if we don't get it next year, which is fine because they do have a pretty stout lineup. You don't want to do a Hellblade 2 and a Starfield at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to give Starfield, it's a new IP, to breathe on its own. And if it does, in fact, does release before, right after the holiday, that'd be perfectly fine. So yeah, I mean, good stuff. Real quick, got to shout out Eric the Red 06. He says PlayStation fanboys didn't talk crap about any other game on the show last night but one, and it happened to be Hellblade 2, a franchise that they didn't talk crap about back when Ninja Theory was independent. That's exactly what Noof Nukem just said. And yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm sure that there were people on the Xbox camp that are like, hey, they showed Horizon Forbidden West again. I thought that trailer was fantastic. I mean, it showed a bunch of new enemies. a lot of environments. I don't know about anyone else. I'm super stoked for Hellblade 2. Hellblade 2, Horizon Forbidden West. But again, we're right now talking about Ninja Theory. I thought it was Ninja Theory's coming out party. We knew that they had talent. We knew that the lead actress was actually taking martial arts and sword study so she can actually do the stunts herself. It's pretty what they showed last night, from everything from lighting to facial animation to water effects to sound. It looks like this is going to be a highly reviewed game. It's going to be a AAA bomb from a small team that had originally made Hellblade 1 with only a handful of developers. I think it was either 16, it was between 16 and 20 developers that made Hellblade 1. And that is considered a masterpiece for last gen. I think this one will be considered the same. But let's get Fuzzy Belvedere's opinion on this. Fuzzy, were you surprised on exactly how much gameplay we got? Because 6+ minutes of anything. I mean, I felt like that demo felt like an hour, to be honest with you. What were your thoughts about it?
I love what I saw, and just to point out, like what Noof was saying, everything's spot on. So I don't know that I can add much more to that, but I do want to say a couple of quick things about it in reference to. I love the first game. And as Newfit pointed out, audio was a big thing as far as hearing the voices in her head and stuff. Like, look out. And you could tell like where it's behind you, like behind you to the right or behind you to the left and
Yep.
stuff like that. And you could still hear those subtle voices going through like that 6-minute trailer, which I'm real pumped about as well. Because even though good home audio is great, headphones are going to probably, or a
Well, no,
headset's going to probably be the way to go with this.
I'll tell you what, if you didn't play this game with headphones, you missed out on the whole game.
Yeah. But just for anyone that's saying that it wasn't gameplay, there are certain things you can tell from like when the camera transitions from like when the giant falls and there's that the smoke cloud and fire, which I like the atmosphere effects, I guess it's ambient occlusion and stuff like that, where you can see the fire through the smoke and stuff along those lines, or the smoke gets colored based on the color of the fire. And then when it transitions to her crawling back, and you can tell when she gets up and runs, that's somebody controlling it. And when she stops and grabs the spear, that's somebody controlling it. So you can see like little subtle cuts, and they did a nice smooth job, very similar to how the bangers on the blue team's system tends to do with theirs, where it goes from the transition to cutscene to gameplay. So they have that down pat. But I just want to point out, everybody talks about Microsoft and their big wallet and how they, bought stuff. You can see what that team did with 20 people. It's great to see the organic growth now with them being under the Microsoft umbrella and what that team has been able to accomplish. And that's just being a taste within a year or so of them building the studio or redoing the new or building the new studio for them to be housed in. I can't wait until 2023. I hope it is in like a first quarter 2023, because man, I was expecting maybe a glimpse, not like a full 6 minutes like that.
It surprised me. It
Yeah.
honestly surprised me. Yeah.
But it was all for the best. I mean, just the water effects, the oil on the giant when they set him on fire, and then when he falls down and the other guy's running on fire. I mean, yeah, I shouldn't laugh at somebody running while on fire, but seeing that stuff in the game and then seeing them smash people or pick them up and bite them in half and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just the level of detail, the gore, even though it's subtle and it's like in dark caves, it's not necessarily nightmare fuel, but it's that type of stuff that they spent the extra time to look at it from every angle of all the little, fine details that draw you in to make you want to get away from that thing or stop it before it hurts other people and stuff like that. So I was real excited watching that. Watched it a couple more times afterwards, and 2023 on the calendar. Can't wait. Looking for the official release date, but man, I'll be excited and waiting. for that when it's ready to drop. But man,
Yeah,
that was awesome.
absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Noof, I'm going to read your comment because I think it's relevant to the conversation.
Mhm.
You dropped this into the chat, and he says, for the last 5 years, hold on a sec. Wait, I just
Yeah.
lost it. For the last 5 years, Xbox fans have had to endure the bullshit, and I'll say it, of resolution and no games. Now that Xbox is killing every narrative, they create new ones. Indeed, it's look, folks. I'm gonna tell you this: just do what I do. When you see someone being an a-hole, don't even entertain it. Just block them or mute them and keep it going. Honestly, I blocked somebody yesterday. He said one comment. That's impressive for Xbox. Blocked, because I don't have time for this. If you dislike a particular plastic box because that's who you bow down to every evening, good on you, man. But I don't want no part of it. I'm 51 years old, and I have all three consoles and thoroughly enjoy when I'm on those consoles. If you want to be a part of this nonsense, this narrative, you're just going to get blocked. But anyway,
Amen. Preach.
let's bring it to Crispy Bomb. Crispy, I knew from the DMs last night that you could not wait to talk about this. Was this the game of the show?
I mean, there's no question. It's just I just like, Jeff, you could have went to the middle, the end, like, and don't get me wrong, because my girlfriend goes to bed very early. She saw that, her jaw, like I could see her jaw hitting the floor. She's like, "This is a game." She's like, she's looking at me like, "I remember the first one. I don't remember it was like this." I'm like, "Oh well, that's the power of the new consoles."
Yep.
And she, she's mostly plays on her phone. She'll play with her son playing, like they just beat It Takes Two. So she's not really into like, the super cinematic games, but she also like loves A Plague's Tale. And she's like, okay, if they don't have those puzzles, because that's actually what ticked me off about the first Hellblade as well. It's the puzzles. It also ticked her off. And I was like, honestly, dear, I don't think they're gonna really go that route as much. It seems more like an epic. And sure enough, they kind of showed that. You know what I mean? So I think they're gonna probably have much fewer or easier puzzles just by the way they're treating it, because I don't think they want to go after this cinematic look. Like I that's why people are like, is it gameplay? Like the way it transitioned was so seamless.
Yes.
That's where you're getting yourself confused, because at the end of the day they're gonna stick by not giving you a UI. Maybe they change that if a bunch of people complain, but I doubt they will, because that's going to break what the game is actually trying to do. Now on that note, Unreal Engine 5, I tell you, Epic, man, you're on another level with this.
Oh, 100%.
I'll be honest with you. When I saw that game, Hellblade, I said, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen as far as gaming. It looked, I mean, you are blurring the line of realism, of just watching TV. Like they are getting to that point. I'm even hearing people talking about the Matrix demo that's out there for UE5. So, I mean, Epic's going, they're going to be selling this to movie companies and stuff. You know what I
100%.
mean? So I'm just telling you, like, you got Ninja Theory on, that's just shown what they can do with it already. Just with this, which 6 minutes, I was like, wow, this is long. Like I was really surprised.
I'm telling you, dude, it felt like I was like, I can't believe they're showing this much gameplay.
Yeah, and for it to be so soon, in my opinion, you know what I mean? Like, really, they've only gotten these assets like at the beginning of the year for the most part. I don't know if they had, a little help or something, but I mean, I'm just like, damn, like wait until Gear 6 hits. Like, I'm like, oh no, this is big. And I think that's why you're seeing Microsoft, a lot of the games are going with Unreal Engine, because it's just better. It just has, and it's a tool set that's kind of already in place, and they can, just upgrade a lot of stuff. So I'm looking forward to, like 2023. I think this is when we're going to get like flooded with just amazing, crazy looking games. And it's just going to be a great time to be a gamer.
Oh, indeed it is. Dread, I know that you had to step away for a hot second. Let's get your opinion on this, brother. What were your takeaways from the 6+ minute demo of Hellblade 2 from Ninja Blade?
Let's
Ninja
see.
Theory, I should say. And this is Ninja Blade.
I know what you meant. They did it right. They did it justice. Because I was under the guise of I don't want to see another anything from Ninja Theory. I don't want to see another Hellblade. If it's going to be the same stuff that we've already seen before, okay, yay, they're chanting. We've seen this and that. Now we have a developer behind the scenes stuff, and let's talk about the game. I don't want to see any of that. You know what I mean? And what I saw was totally different. It was literally what we needed to see. So applause to them. They definitely knocked it out of the park. It is definitely the game of the show. I mean, did they shoot their load fast? Possibly, but when you have a good showing like that of your game, uh, it's hard to follow up with any others. So placement might have been a good thing for them to figure out. But I mean, even still, sometimes great games come out and they show wonderful at the very beginning and you forget about it because something else pops up. There's a lot of stuff that popped up afterwards, but this was what they needed to show. They needed to show we said gameplay. Other than gameplay, we don't want to see it. I don't want to see nothing. And the way that they presented the gameplay was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The mixing of watching and actually getting back in and playing, it was so seamless that it was hard to tell. And it was nice that there was clarification. This is actual gameplay. You don't know how many times I've seen people like, well, that it looks great and all, but it's in engine. How's it really going to look? It's in engine, yeah, because it's gameplay. It's actual gameplay. Quit with the narratives. Pay attention to what is being said. Pay attention to what's going on in the screen. Yeah, there's like those little hiccups here and there where you could tell, okay, that's where someone took over. This is the spot that someone actually took over, and it was that little hiccup, or not really a glitch, but it was like you could see it was a double step, and it's like, oh, that's where I'm taking over. And obviously it's not like they've never played this before, so their transitions are a lot smoother. They already know that I gotta press here for when the cutscene's over with that I'm actually moving, but you see it. So I don't know. It well deserved kudos.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Like I said, I thought it was a great way to start the Game Awards because that was the big bomb to open it up. I agree with Crispy that he's like, man, this would have been great at the end. Honestly, I'm glad that they opened it up the show with it because, quite frankly, it set the tone for what the show could potentially be.
Plus, it was a longer show, right? So having it up front in the center, like at the very beginning, ensures that everyone's going to see it because it was a long show, and I guarantee you, people started dipping out towards the end.
I was in that spot too. I was like, dude, when is this going to be over with? You know what I mean? And had they put that back there, it wouldn't have had the same effect it has now.
Yes,
So, yet again,
everyone left the Game Awards as great as they were, and like I said, I quite enjoyed this Game Awards. I truly did. I think that the word of mouth might not have been as significant as it is. People like Zemi was saying, this was the perfect spot for it simply because it opened the door for the tone of the rest of the show, and I thought it matched. We're going to talk about some of the other big reveals. But listen, if you're an Xbox fan and you've been waiting for the hashtag just one, I think we saw it. I think we're going to get that with several games in the next couple of years. I think we're going to get that with Fable, Avowed, Perfect Dark. I think we're going to get quite a few of this. I think that a lot of people aren't talking about it because we don't really have a lot of information for it. That's one of the games I thought was going to be there. The team that brought us We Happy Few is working on a third-person, story-driven type of game, and I again, I had heard rumors that was going to be shown off for the first time. Who's to say that Microsoft did not pull it at the last minute? They've notoriously done that before. But I mean, listen, Compulsion is working on something special. Phil Spencer said it himself, and I know that it's Phil. Of course, he's going to talk good about the team, but when he was asked last year in an interview what one game we haven't know that we don't know about that has not been disclosed would is he most excited for, he picked them, which is freaking impressive, to be honest with you. But I want to roll right into the second game that was shown, because I kind of had a feeling it was a Star Wars game, but I did not know that this was going to be about the High Republic, which is hundreds, if not 1,000 years before the original trilogy. And that, of course, is called Star Wars Eclipse. And that's being made by Quantic Dreams. Zemi, wow. This game, again, I don't think we saw any gameplay. I think it's all, it's a trailer. I know what people get offended by that. I don't want a trailer. I want gameplay. You know what? Go sit in the corner. Shut up, because I'm okay with trailers.
Well, also just to say that I'm very familiar with Quantic Dreams. Love their games,
Of
and
course.
even though that was probably like in-engine rendering or CGI or whatever it is, Quantic Dreams games do look similar to what we saw.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like graphically, so super impressive studio. But what were you gonna say?
No. I was just gonna say, but like, what are your thoughts on it? Because this is. I mean, we knew that they were working on the game. We just didn't know, what it looked like. It obviously it's taking place in an era that has only been done in books. It's never been. I mean, Knights of the Old Republic, obviously, but this is the High Republic. This is something that we've never played as gamers, and quite frankly, I am extremely excited considering who's making it, because they know how to tell stories, Emmy. And I think what we're going to get here is something special. What are your thoughts?
Quantic Dreams, check. Star Wars, big check. What else do I need to say? No, they're a fantastic studio. I love every single game that they've created. And I I was always like very, very disappointed that Sony had their claws around this studio. Not to bring up console wars or anything like that, but I absolutely adore their games and would have absolutely wanted that type of experience on the Xbox platform, which I think we're going to get. I don't think that this game is going to be locked down as a first party exclusive on either side. I don't believe so.
Quantic Dreams, who normally made games for PlayStation, said that they were going multi-plat when they left PlayStation the last time. So yeah, it's going to be a multi-plat game.
Which is extremely exciting to hear, because the last Star Wars game that we got announced was unfortunately locked down to PlayStation for a year. That being the Knights of the Old Republic remake RPG game. But no, I mean the trailer looked absolutely incredible. And of course, the rumor, the leak that we got not too long ago talked about this not being just another Quantic Dream game, that there's actually going to be combat and a lot more gameplay than what we typically see from this studio, which is incredibly exciting. I love their games, but their games have always been very, very, very cinematic and kind of close to what Telltale and Don't Nod do with their games, where it's more moving around, interacting with objects, and pressing quick time buttons than it is actually walking around the world, exploring and so on and so forth. But no, the Star Wars Eclipse game, obviously it's something that we've heard of, that we have talked on your shows about. And it's one thing hearing it; it's a completely other thing seeing it. It was a huge surprise for me, and I absolutely cannot wait until that game is released. It is a day one buy and play a week straight until I beat it, if it takes that long to beat. I don't know. Quantic Dream games are usually don't take a week to beat, but no, absolutely excited. And what you're talking about, it is in a setting that we've never gotten to see before. We've seen the Old Republic, we've seen more of the current timeline, but we've never seen just 1,000 years out. So absolutely excited, 100% boom.
Yeah, me too. I cannot wait for that. Let me catch up with some of the super. Yes,
and
sir.
let me just add this: we actually got like the triple whammy, because we also got an Expanse game, which is another huge sci-fi world, and we
Yes.
also got a Star Trek game. All we're missing
Yes.
is Battlestar Galactica, and we would have had, we would have,
Mm.
we would have had
As
everything.
long it's the original with the Cylons being silver with the red light
Yeah,
that goes like this, then we're good. I'm old, folks. I don't know
yeah.
if it's a lot of people are like,
Oh,
no,
Beady,
Battlestar.
beady,
Jeff, we
beady,
got
beady,
Dune
beady.
too. We
We
got
got
we got a Dune 4X strategy game as well. I mean, it was just filled with sci-fi.
Yeah, it was. It like I said, folks, listen, I get a lot of people feel a type of way about Jeff and the way he wears his love for PlayStation on his sleeve. Listen, I wear my love for Xbox on my sleeve, so you can turn around and say the same thing about me. Now, I have had problems with certain things, but overall, I look forward to the Game Awards, and a lot of people don't. They won't watch it because it's that and the third. I hear you. I'm not going to argue with you on that. If you don't watch it, listen, it's fine. You can just watch the trailers. But before I bring in um, Fuzzy on this, I got to catch him in some of the super chats. The first one of the day comes to us from generous friend of the show, Chaos Might. Drops a $5 super chat and says, "Love to see Hellblade at the Game Awards, but no release date, not even a year." I thought that we have an idea that it's 2023, but you never know, folks. I mean, that game looks. I mean, could we see it next year? Maybe, unlikely, but maybe. I'll take that. We also have a new channel member, Gameonomics. Well, thanks so much for becoming a channel member, dude. Super appreciate that. Pixel Bit G, generous friend of the show, he drops a $5 super chat and says the troll was created by another studio with machine learning on AWS to get it to move and look like that. Ninja Theory is pushing tech boundaries. Indeed, they are. It's just astounding how they continue to just be Ninja Theory. It's unbelievable. And like I said, I have a strange suspicion that with this game and Project Mara, the horror game that's coming out, I think that we might eventually see them become the next Microsoft version of Naughty Dog or Insomniac. I think that everything that they put out has become. It's safe to say that it is a winner for sure. Let me just bring in my good brother here, BitCloud Gaming. What's up, brother? How are you, man?
I'm good. Glad to wait 4 hours for it. What's going on here?
Yeah. Dude. I am so sorry. I'm watching my gameplay. I'm doing 1,000 things over here, but we'll get to you in a hot second, dude. We have GXGLRX Aldridge drops a very generous $5 super chat and says the coalition is behind the Matrix demo. Gear 6 is going to be insane. Indeed, it is. They are the masters of Unreal Engine, and I can only imagine how incredible Gear 6 is going to look. I mean, Gears 5 is still, in my opinion, a showpiece. I think the game still looks absolutely astounding, but Unreal Engine 5 is the real deal for sure. Chaos Mike drops an additional $10 super chat. Well, thank you for the generosity, brother. He says, I bought myself a 360 surround sound because of Hellblade. If you don't have a 360 surround sound, then a headset is a must. Make sure you use a headset with 360 audio. Indeed, like I said earlier, Hellblade is a game that if you experience it as a game, it's a fine game. Graphics are beautiful. Story is very very emotional. Obviously, but if you did not play that game, like Chaos might said, with surround sound or a headset, you are missing a significant part
It's a
of
different
that game.
experience.
It absolutely is a different experience because it really, I mean, wow. Again, it's when you talk about the voices in her head, it's easy to say, but when you hear them and they're talking in your left ear, talking in your right ear, and they're talking at the same time, and then singly, you're like, holy shit! Like they're small glimpse into what people who have mental illness or suffer from mental illness is again extremely significant, groundbreaking, and again, they obviously are looking to push those boundaries and letting people know about folks that suffer from this ailment, and it's real, folks. It's a real thing, and they take it very seriously. So again, hats off. We also have Dan Lazaro drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Most boring 3 hours of my life, never again." I mean, Dan, I hear you, brother. It was it was a long 3 hours for sure. For me, we were talking in the green room. The one cringe moment. There's always one with Jeff. A couple years ago it was the shave guy, right? The guy, the shave guy. But this year it was the little pot that rolled out. He took the scroll from. That was terrible. But you know what? It's fun. We have fun with it.
Well,
I
you know
know-
what, Boom? Jeff
Yes, sir.
Keighley is Canadian. It makes sense that he came out with his pot friend.
Oh, I do like that. That's a nice segue into. You know what, Fuzzy? We'll
There
come
was
back to you in a
several
second.
cringe.
Yeah. I know the Amanda Waller one. A lot of people were like, "Yeah, this is weird." I love that actress, man. And her playing that role, God damn it, she acts just like her. She's a real bitch. Pardon my French, but Crispy, Noof, let's get your opinion on this. The Star Wars. In recent years, we have seen a lot of up and downs, gaming and both in film and TV. For TV, we saw The Mandalorian. Obviously, it has reinvigorated people's love of Star Wars, and obviously, the two men behind it are going to bring Star Wars back in a big way. The films are still suffering. I don't know what the problem is, but hopefully, John and his partner they give them the reins and let them take over for the films as well, because the films need help. The last 3 films were just, God, they were terrible. But the last Star Wars game that we got was phenomenal. It was so phenomenal that it's one of those games that missed the Game Awards, very similar to Forza Horizon, because of a cutoff date, and never got. I mean, it won Game of the Year from many outlets. And of course, I'm talking about Jedi Fallen Order. Respawn Entertainment is working on Jedi Fallen Order 2. That's going to be phenomenal. But we got to see what Quantum Dreams were working on. Again, it is not gameplay, but were you impressed enough to say, I'm excited about this next Star Wars game?
You know what, Boo? I'm going to make it very, very short and hand it off to someone else, because this is the one, I think, one of the trailers that I did not get to see or get to watch. I think it came down before I got off of work and got home. Like, I even had to go back and watch.
Yeah, it was literally
Hellblade.
Yeah,
I had to watch like that first few trailers afterwards, and then of course last night when the show was over, I downloaded the Matrix Experience. But I'm just going to leave it off and just say, like, the Star Wars games, I think, are in good hands. We saw what happens when you make a misstep with a Star Wars game, hence DICE and Battlefront. So I think there's been some serious lessons learned. Vince Zampella certainly did a lot to sort of restore a little bit of faith in the brand with a very solid Jedi Fallen Order. So you can get blend some great gameplay aspects with great visuals and cool characters and stuff. The Star Wars universe is expansive. I think the problem with the movies is much the same problem that franchises like Halo still struggle to deal with. And what it is you are constantly living in the shadow of your predecessor. You are constantly living in 343 will never be Bungie. And that's the thing, and it's always that fine line of how do you keep your old fan base extremely happy but still be relevant, new, and invigorating to a newer generation. Like I said, the thing with us older guys is we hang on to nostalgia like it's $1 million, like it's a briefcase with $1 million. Like nothing's ever going to live up to us because we set this standard in our heads, and sometimes we don't even realize that the standard has changed and gotten so much better since the stuff that we played. But it's just, again, we get that ideal, and they always have to break that barrier, and it's not easy, and it never will go away. We see this with every single studio, every single movie, whether it's a director. Oh, well, the director changes, movie's going to be junk, or this guy changes, going to be junk, or the actor changes, going to be junk. So it happens in every medium. The thing that always blows my mind is I don't know why they haven't hired more of the book writers for some of their stuff, as opposed to just getting a movie script writer, right? Because the big difference, like if you look at some of the Star Wars works, and I'm sure there's lots of Star Wars aficionados on this panel, look at some of the stuff that Timothy Zahn wrote. Absolutely dynamite books that should have been movies and probably would have
Still
been
some of the best writing.
Yeah.
The Dark Empire you're talking about. Yeah, dude, it's
Yeah.
probably the best trilogy that's never been put on film. 100%. Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
See, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, indeed.
So
I
why
did.
why don't they base some of their films on that stuff? Is it because when they break it down, it's outside of the budget? Because that's a lot of it. What it comes down to is, can it be produced and can it come in under a certain budget? That's usually where it either lives or dies. Is who are we going to get? Can we get it under budget? Blah blah blah. And books obviously are very hard to adapt because they're very expansive. And of course, adapting a 400, 500 page book is not as easy as doing say 150 page script and everything's broken down. But anyway, I think the game is going to be in good hands regardless. I'll go back and watch it, and maybe someday I'll come back and give you more of an opinion. But I think the games are definitely set up right now and doing great. And I'll leave it at that. But yeah.
And you can't argue that. Obviously, if you didn't see it, you can't comment on it. But I am going to say that it appears that Star Wars games are in good hands because Disney wants to make sure that they're well represented. And Quantic Dreams is a phenomenal studio that has made incredible experiences themselves. And now that they have, and to think, you got to remember, this is new type of lore because yes, there a book written and comics coming out of the High Republic? Yes, but there's a lot of blank spaces. They could make their own characters, which they're good at doing. So whatever characters they're going to make are going to become canon, which is pretty interesting for sure. I'm very excited from what I saw. Again, I know it's just simply a trailer, but for me, as a diehard Star Wars fan who saw the original film in the theater when as a kid, I could not be happier. Fuzzy, let's get your opinion on this, brother. Where did the needle move for you with this trailer? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't expect it. And we got a Star Wars trailer, even though it was no gameplay, good enough to move the hype meter for me. What about you?
First, I was completely blown away that we were going to see a Star Wars game because, I didn't even know Quantic Dream had gotten the license for any of the Lucasfilm titles or anything like that. So
we talked about a long time ago.
Yeah, I only knew of Massive, which once I realized it was Star Wars, I'm like, hey, this can't be Massive Star Wars game because I think that's even further out as well.
Yes,
they just finished up Avatar, so I'm like, is this another one? Because
that's probably 3 or 4 years away. That Star Wars game from a Motive.
Yeah, I know we have the Knights of the Old Republic, the remaster coming out, and I'm like, this can't be Massive's game. And seeing that Quantic Dream is the ones making it, it's going to be awesome considering how well they've done with Detroit Become Human and stuff like that. And hearing from you guys that it's going to have more combat as opposed to a lot of their stuff is more interactive environments and things like that, which is cool. But to have something with real-time combat type of deal, that blend with their storytelling, I think is going to really be an awesome surprise. But it was great to see, kind of like Zemi was saying, we have all these space games come together at this show, and this one was definitely a surprise. I was not expecting another Star Wars game.
Yeah, I you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I love the fact that EA is no longer in control of the license for a multitude of reasons. And I'm glad that we're going to start seeing the Star Wars franchise from multiple angles, from multiple teams. And this is a good one. Like I said, we don't know what Motive is going to bring to the table because obviously they have a significant background as well. But Quantic Dreams knows how to tell stories and tell them well. So I'm super stoked for that. Let's bring in BitCloud. BitCloud, obviously you streamed it yesterday. Obviously we saw that you posted it on social media that you were officially partnered with the Game Awards to stream. What were your takeaways, brother, of the Star Wars game? I don't know how much insight you knew to what they were going to show being partnered with them for the event. Yeah, I saw those passes, dude. That's that frame that shit, bro. Seriously, because that's one of those things you look back on your YouTube career and say, "Yep, this is where it started." And obviously for you, and I'm being completely honest because you're my brother, you have no ceiling. You have a tremendous career ahead of you, and I think we're going to see much more from you. Were you surprised by the Star Wars game?
So, all right, y'all talked about Hellblade already, did y'all?
Yeah, we did. We opened up with it. Yeah. Give us a give us your give us
let me
opinion
run
on
my way
both.
into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk
So
about Hellblade.
I heard a few snippets. And then I was just really excited for the show. Going into the show, the first half easily had more hype than we've had in a long time for the Game Awards. I really do think that should be the standard. The other half of the show, I felt like they could have just, you know what I mean, like spread through. We didn't have to sit there for another hour and 34. But to go back to this, Hellblade 2, finally saw the reveal, the gameplay. I guess you want to call it gameplay. Some people are saying it's CG. That whole sequence from start to finish, I was sitting there going, yep, 2023, it's about to be a great year. Everybody's about to see the next gen consoles really be pushed. This whole sequence from start to finish, especially with the refinements and how she moves, the audio in general, I had my head to, I was like, bro, this is where all my games need to be. I love what I saw. It was that good. The fight, all that stuff, like it was really intense. I really do like what they did there. So Hellblade 2, easily the best game on show in terms of just the hype level, definitely there. Moving to Quantic Dreams, when we got to the Star Wars thing, funny thing about this, before it showed Star Wars Eclipse, I thought it was Jedi Fallen Order 2. Like a trailer.
I so did I.
I legit
100%. Yeah,
because before, I don't know if y'all remember, they showcased Alan Wake 2. Finally, we're getting Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a second. That's Zami's most anticipated game.
I'm like, bro, again, dudes were upset about the sequel going to PlayStation. I'm like, guys, that theory happened. You're getting a sequel off of that decision. It's finally happened. They got the funding that they needed. So once they showcased this, I was like, oh no. And this at Quantic Dreams, like the thing about Quantic Dreams, man, Quantic Dream has always been and honestly will always be known as that studio that can really push emotion and push the visuals. What they did with Detroit Become Human easily is one of the greatest achievements I think that studio has ever done. Like Heavy Rain was good, but keep in mind, Heavy Rain was done on PlayStation 3. PlayStation 3 is good, was good, but not as accessible. You see what I'm saying? When they had the full proper tools and it was fully optimized, they gave us Detroit Become Human.
Which is a masterpiece.
Is incredible from storytelling, the music, the acting, the portrayals. Now we're getting a Star Wars game from them. I hope y'all realize how incredible this is. They can retell the entire series if they wanted to. Something like this. They could give you an alternate path. Let's say Anakin didn't burn and become Darth Vader. He became, the true Sith Lord type of thing. They can do some crazy stuff they wanted. And that would be cool if we do get options like that with the story where you make certain decisions and that can lead, you know what I'm saying, to that type of stuff to happen. That'd be great. They go that extra mile. But I'm excited. It looks great. The scene with Yoda looking over the temple, and just the way things are going, I'm still going, good God, that looks just like out of the
prequel trilogy.
Definitely the prequel trilogy. I was thinking of, I think Attack of the Clones. He did that in Attack of the Clones. It looked exactly a shot for shot take on that, and it looked even better. And I was sitting there going, I just can't wait. Like 2023 going forward, I can't wait. These next gen systems are going to be incredible, and I'm really excited. I love the tension in the trailer too, with the way they had the drums and everything. That tribalistic little
that was pretty dope.
That was really good. I was okay. So when they started doing that, I was immediately like, damn, they're really making this their own. You know what I mean? It's not like they're just taking source material and recreating the source material. It's like, no, they're legit making this their own and having fun with it. And I'm like, I love seeing that. So it's great.
Absolutely. Let's bring in a Dreadpool on the conversation. Dreadpool, for a CG trailer, first time we're seeing them. Anyone bring the High Republic to a game outside of us learning anything about the High Republic for the book that was released. I believe it was either late last year or early this year. Are you excited to see what Quantum Dreams, who is their last game, because Detroit Become Human, was phenomenally told? Are you excited to see what they bring to the table?
Is it still too early to say I nutted?
Well, no, not at all. It's certainly
Okay.
it's 11:03. Yeah, drink your
Yeah.
beer and do whatever you got to do.
So there we go.
Never.
Well, Noof, you definitely got to watch it, and you redeemed yourself by talking about Timothy. So now we got to figure this right. This is the High Republic. It spans from, and they go by BBY, right? The Battle of Yavin. So it's either
Yes.
before the Battle of Yavin or after the Battle of Yavin. So it'd be ABY or BBY. 300 to 82 BBY. Okay. Now, Luke Skywalker was 19 in episode 4, which was 63 years before the Battle of Yavin. Okay, so it still spans across the prequels. The prequels started, let's see, at 31 BBY. Okay, so that's why you're seeing some of that stuff, and it spans before that, right? And now they're saying that the prequels they're renaming that era into the Fall of the Jedi. So what they're
Makes
doing
sense.
is, so now, even though it still spans into 82 BBY, it's going to be like much further into the past, which is going to be cool. This is going to be the same thing like with the other Star Wars game,
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes, it'll be kind of around the same time like that, where you have Jedi that are plentiful. Everything's going to be pretty much what we would consider like the Wild West. You know how it was so unpredictable, right?
Yeah.
Because you never knew what you were going to run into, and that's the whole thing. That's what the beauty of Star Wars is. When you get to the outer edges of space that they know of, it's Wild West for them. You know, there is no laws. It's just you try to live. You
Hey,
try to go.
Dreadful, let me throw this at you.
Yeah.
Now, Detroit, obviously, again, it's got like that telltale
Mhm.
play style. You're walking mostly. Obviously, Jedi do walk in the temple. But how you guys feel about the lightsaber combat? How they're going to handle that? That's the only thing I'm a little questionable about for this one.
I need to see more.
Yeah.
Yes, I
make a
agree.
judgment.
Yeah.
If there's not enough.
If I'm not mistaken, and I have been mistaken many times before, so I have some faith. I believe I read an article, and I can't remember if it was a rumor, if it was a leak, or if it was actually an official statement from the company. But they are contracting out another studio, or another studio has been purchased for them to help them with the combat. I cannot remember for the life of me the name of the studio. But I believe I've read that somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt
it. Yeah, because the combat's going to be the only thing that will really separate, because they're not really known for combat in their games aside from the button prompts.
They didn't do a terrible job with combat in Beyond Two Souls for the PlayStation 3 gen, but obviously combat's evolved a lot since then, and it wasn't perfect back then as well.
It's kind of like hand holding, if that makes sense, with Detroit around Beyond, if you remember, because you had to hit the weapon prompts at a certain time, otherwise you get damaged and you lose, something like that. This is Star Wars. I mean, you got to really give that freedom to the player.
You got to remember, yeah, you got to remember, like Disney Infinity, they hired Ninja Theory for the lightsaber combat. So there's a lot of studios that will be working on this, having their hand in this, and whatever their profession is, and their specialties. So it like I said, until I see more, I'm not gonna say one way or the other. But yeah, it needs to be perfect. It needs to feel right. It needs. I mean, we've seen the old Dark Forces. When they would do their lightsaber, for back in its day, it was horrible. And then you look at it today, it's even more horrendous to try to play some of these games. So obviously we need the quality of life and what we're used to. We want the graphics. We want the story and the lore. That's what makes Star Wars. So it's not just about one thing or another. There's a lot with Star Wars when it comes to that. That's why it's so popular.
If they're doing it like a passion project where they're all in and they're giving it that same, Phil, it should come across.
I have no doubt from what I've seen that it's going to be a masterpiece.
Yes, me too. I I just think the days of crappy Star Wars games are over, at
Yeah.
least in my opinion.
It's
Hopefully.
about time. It happened.
Yeah,
It took a long time for that to
It
happen.
certainly
it really
did, dude.
Also,
Yeah.
on one side note, I was very disappointed because a game that I wanted to see did not show up, and that was that was Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But
My
did
whole
any
chat
of
was
you
talking
guys
about
think
that,
those
Jimmy.
aliens beating on those drums whenever it showed the face? Did any of you guys get some Lord Voldemort vibes?
I certainly did.
Did you
Indeed.
not realize that Harry Potter is a rip off of Star Wars? His
The power of the dark
old man, mysterious old man drops him off at his uncle's and aunts and uncles. To
Yeah.
raise them.
I mean that is the
Um,
hero's journey, and that is in
The magic.
multiple medias way before Star Wars. George Lucas stole the hero's journey off of other franchises way
Well,
before
yeah, you know,
Star Wars was even a thing,
admit it,
with all the
it was
archetypes
a
of
space opera slash. He took it from as a samurai. He took a lot of influence from other places.
yeah. But there's tons of media that use the hero's journey. Yeah.
Well, listen, we're an hour and 10 into it. I want to grab Crispy's opinion on this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over a list of games that we saw, and I want anyone to pick whatever game that was your flavor. But Crispy, a new Star Wars game by the same team that brought us Detroit Become Human, who has notoriously been known to tell great stories. What are your thoughts on this? Were you surprised to see it?
Oh, Crispy fell asleep in the chat when he saw Star Wars. I saw that, Crispy.
Oh no, he's got it back.
He was lively. He was lively.
Well, here's the-
until he showed Star Wars.
Here's the problem. Like, it's Star Wars has become so convoluted. Like, I almost feel like this is a chance for them to really kind of bring it back to reality, at least as far as how they've treated it lately with these movies. Like, I don't know. Like, I want them to go to something that really hasn't been touched. And my only concern is the gameplay. We got to see it. That could be how it looks, to be honest with you. I mean, after seeing Hellblade, I'm like, anything's possible at this point.
I mean, even Jedi Fallen Order was
yeah.
pretty good in the graphics department.
Yeah. So,
Some of the best. Yeah. And the lighting is something that I really love. And I hope they carried that over with this. The lighting in Jedi Fallen Order with the lightsabers. They know that.
Yeah. I'm intrigued. I just, fighting mechanics. Like, I hope they have a good solution to that. Because I get, like, people love Detroit, but not really my type of game. I'm not a Telltale player. I'm not like a person that's really into just story. I need a little extra there. And
Press the button.
but we got to see more. But I mean, look at it. It looks incredible. So we'll see.
Do you think they should take inspiration from Star Wars Theory? Do you guys follow Star Wars Theory?
Star Wars Theory is great. Dude.
I think they should take inspiration from his theories and allow those theories to become reality in the game.
That guy knows how to tell stories. They should hire him, dude. That guy's incredible. I've been watching his stuff for years. I actually found him from
Imagine
Den
a
of
what
Nerds.
if, but with Star Wars. That would be awesome.
Dude, that would be kind of dope. Yeah.
And then just hire
what
that
if what if Anakin killed Obi-Wan? That's all you had to say. That's all you got.
That was the old Legends comic books. When you look at it, the old comic books were, they were sort of lore back then. But you look at some of them,
but they didn't really go
did.
all out. They didn't go all out though in terms of like full blown creativity, like beyond a certain point.
Well, I mean, listen. What I want to do is I want to kind of just move the show along a little bit, and I'm going to read out some names. We're going to get into some of the big reveals. Alan Wake 2, finally, after a decade, we're getting a new Alan Wake that is incredible. They show it's a cinematic trailer for a Wonder Woman game. That was a bit shocking. I'm excited for that because I love Wonder Woman as a character.
You hear that, Crispy? You hear that? Did you hear what he said? Alan Wake 2, huh?
Alan Wake 2
want to give
indeed.
props to. That's right. It's getting a sequel. And we're getting Wonder Woman, which is good. I'm glad Wonder Woman's getting her game.
Yeah, I hope a Wonder Woman is going to be good. We got a chance to see the Suicide Squad. We got to see some gameplay. That game looked like they took some beats right out of
the Avengers. They killed Avengers to me. Like they had a vision for this, kind of similar to what you guys saw in Avengers. but they nailed it and made it more. They made it their own. It's a lot more fluid than what we were expecting. It looks good.
Oh yeah, it had movement like oh my god, why am I blanking on the game with the orange stuff? That was
Sunset Overdrive.
yeah, thank you, Sunset Overdrive. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Sunset Overdrive, the way they were kind of bouncing on cars and jumping up on stuff. That looked pretty interesting. You had a weird one called Slitterhead. That looked
weird.
like wow, that was like totally you know, a little wacky. Let's see. We also had Sonic's new game, which they debuted. It kind of looks like Sonic Adventure, open world-ish. I'm very excited.
You got that vibe from there?
Yeah,
You know
I did. I got an open world Sonic for sure.
You know what vibe I got from that? I got the vibe. Yeah, who played the one on PS3 and I think it was on 360, but it was the one with the silver guys, Silver. The open world Sonic game. Yeah, he was like a psychic. You know what I'm talking about? The psychic looking Sonic looking cousin dude.
Yes.
It reminds me, I was getting vibes like that, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, those are not good vibes.
Well, look, I loved Sonic Adventure, and a lot of people didn't dig it. I loved Sonic Adventure. I beat that game multiple times. I'm hoping that we do get an open world Sonic. That would be dope. We got the chance to see some cinematic trailer for Lord of the Rings Gollum, which looks pretty interesting. Let's see, what else did we get here? We talked about the Forspoken trailer. I did not dig it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw enough in the original trailer. I did not need to see this lore trailer. That's what it was. I'm all in. I got the collector's edition pre-ordered, even though I'm probably gonna suck at that game. We got the chance to see Warhammer. We got a chance to see Saints Row, which looked really good. Let's see, what else did we get over there?
New Hope, you got, or not New Hope.
Crossfire X, folks.
Oh yeah,
Got a chance to see what this game looks like, and it looks very Call of Duty-esque, and I'm okay with that. That game looked really, really good.
Personally, this is the perfect time. This Call of Duty and Activision's in such hot water. I want Crossfire X to be that next day. I
agree. And I think this is a perfect time. It's coming out early next year. We got a chance to see a cinematic trailer with Dying Light. That guy was a D-bag, bro. He let those women die, and he fell to his death. He got what he deserved, so F that guy. We got
Cuphead.
What about his kid?
Cuphead. The Cuphead DLC is coming. Yeah, that looks real. I mean, you know,
I like the presentation. They killed the presentation for that. That was really cool. I did that.
They didn't say nothing about online co-op on that, though, did they?
No.
Say what?
For the Cuphead, there was no like announcement of online co-op finally. Remember they promised that from the start, and never happened.
They didn't say it. That game needs that for sure. Absolutely. Darkest Hour 138 says Arc Raiders is looking good. Yeah, Arc Raiders look pretty interesting as well. We got a chance to see that trailer of all the big Nintendo games coming out in 2022. They're gonna have a monster year. Let's see. I'm going to write to Zemi on this. Zemi. A Plague's Tale. So now, hold on, folks. I got to tell you a quick story. And this is one of those stories that you look back and you just want to punch yourself in the face, right? I want to punch myself in the face. Here's a story. When A Plague Tale came out, Zemi was nice enough. He got a couple of codes from the developer. He reviewed it, and he asked me. He says, "Listen, I'm going to give one code away as a prize, but he had two games. He had Sniper Elite 3, and he had Plague's Tale. So he says, "Boom, I'll give you one of the codes, but the other one I'm going to give away." So what do? I'm like, wow, I love Sniper Elite. I love shooting people, seeing the sea. I wind up picking that. What an idiot. What a dummy, because I didn't realize how good A Plague Tale was. My God. It's one of those blunders that me and Zemi laugh all the time. But Zemi, you finally got a chance to see this game. It looks absolutely incredible, and it looks better than the original, which is hard to match because the original, folks, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you are someone that appreciates that story-driven, adult-themed, over-the-shoulder kind of game that you get on PlayStation, and you did not play A Plague's Tale, I am telling you, pick it up. You could probably get it for dirt cheap. It is an absolutely incredible game, but it tells on an emotional, family-based story. It's worthy of your time. But Semi, we got a chance to see it. I didn't expect this game here, and it was here. What are your thoughts? And obviously, feel free to pick any of the other games that you got that moved you at the Game Awards.
Yeah, so a Plague Tale: Innocence was, I mean, probably it still stands probably the game that I've ranked or given the highest score to. Absolutely adored that game. It was my game of the year for 2019. I mean, nothing can even touch it, like compete with it in my mind. That game hit all cylinders correctly for me. I think it is just a perfect masterpiece of just art, right? Like, to me, that is a game that just really communicates very strongly how gaming is art, and fantastic game. If you haven't played it, highly suggest it. Fantastic. So just the idea that we got to see the game again, I think we got to see it at last E3, and it looked phenomenal. So to get to see it, again this time has me beyond words, super, super, super hyped. I cannot wait to.
And
get
you
my
don't.
hands on
I'm sorry if you hear the typing. I thought I muted it. I apologize for that. And you don't like scary games.
No. I don't like scary games, but see, I don't throw that game into the horror category. I more or less kind of toss it into like a thriller than straight up horror. Kind of the same as Hellblade. Like I kind of, I think Hellblade really, dances on the line between horror and thriller for me personally. A little bit closer than what I would like, but to me, no, I absolutely enjoyed it. I really wasn't scared at all playing it. I mean, there was, some creepy moments for sure whenever you're, walking through, the battlefield between the English and the France, during the 100-year war. There's definitely some very eerie moments to the game, but overall, I wasn't, frightened enough where I couldn't play it. I absolutely adore the game. So I cannot wait until it releases and I can get my hands on it and play it. I actually need to play not Hellblade, a Plague Tale: Innocence again, re-go through it, get all the collectibles and everything like that. I've just been waiting for a reason. I don't know why, but I still need to do that. Two other games that have me extremely, extremely excited. And I very much differ from Crispy on this because I love Telltale games. Is the Expanse Telltale game. I think it's amazing that, Telltale is back and, they're making a game from a franchise that is very, very near and dear to my heart. I absolutely love the Expanse.
I never saw it. You told me I should watch that.
Oh man, it is like Game of Thrones in space. I absolutely love it. And, so I loved the Telltale Game of Thrones game that they did. I wish they would have done a sequel to it. They unfortunately haven't done it or, haven't done it yet. But The Expanse, super excited about it. I love Telltale games. Can't wait to jump into that. And then another one that actually seems like a Telltale game, but I don't think is made by Telltale, is the Star Trek Resurgence. That game looked absolutely incredible, being a ship captain, making tough choices, all that type of stuff. I think that looks absolutely incredible. And if I was going to throw out a fourth one, Lord of the Ring Gollum really, really captured my eye. I don't really know what the heck that game is, but it kind of seems like you're going to be playing as Gollum and keeping trolls and orcs or whatever away from the ring. That just absolutely put a smile on my face because I love Gollum. He's fantastic character, and I think it would be amazing just lurking around caves as Gollum and setting off traps, killing people, saying just absolutely comical things about keeping Precious safe. And no, I think those are probably going to be my games that were ultimate highlights. But one thing that no one's talked about yet, but I do want to mention is out of the whole show, the one thing I had to see, I'm so happy I got to see, was Jim Carrey talking about his Scottish grandfather.
It's great.
Don't grate it in the grinder. Don't grate it in the grinder, boy. Oh my God, I was cracking the hell up. Let me tell you.
That dude is ageless, and he's about 60 now.
Literally looks the same. That guy. Yeah. I mean, you saw a little gray in there. Obviously I shaved my head so you don't see my gray, but you saw a little gray. But that dude, he looks exactly the same as he did 20 years ago. It's crazy.
Oh, also that advertisement for Game Pass. No, Game Pass. That one was fantastic. With
Pete Hines, that was
with
so.
Pete
Oh
Hines,
my
yeah.
god, it was.
It was almost like an old school '90s Smuckers commercial. It was fantastic. But the other one with Game Pass for PC with the rappers and Nate
dude,
Shot with 100 Thieves, that was fantastically done. Fantastic advert, in my opinion.
How'd you feel about the Sonic movie advertisement?
Yeah, but you know what? Let's
Really
go to
good.
you next, Cloud, on this. Obviously, take it away. To talk about Sonic, talk about what of the games that revealed that moved you. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I and Mrs. Boom absolutely love Sonic 1. I mean, and mind you, that was on the verge of a train wreck. That
redesign.
My god, the original design was awful.
Yeah,
it was scary, and they went back and they did something that most films never do. Right?
Yeah,
they don't listen to the fans, and they wind up taking some big losses on having to have this film delayed, and it was all for the better, obviously, but. Wow, it actually looks good. I mean, you're getting Tails and you're getting Knuckles, man. Talk about it, Big Cloud.
Yeah, I was a little worried, a little hesitant, looking to see how Knuckles was going to sound in the movie. I think Idris Elba nailed it. He sounds really good as Knuckles.
He sounds fantastic.
They showed the Chaos Emerald in the movie as well, and it kind of made me think: are we going to see a surprise at the end of this movie with a certain character being introduced? Could Shadow make his debut at the end of this?
Absolutely.
So it was really cool. I like that. In terms of everything else of the show, a lot of these performances could have been cut. Personally, I thought I did like Sting's performance. It was cool to see him on the stage.
He looks fantastic. That guy's up there, bro.
That was great. The Cuphead performance was another one. That was another highlight of the show. That was good. God, what else they do? That for this show, it was a lot of cool announcements that were great. A lot of stuff that should have definitely been either sped up or cut. It was like, how to explain this? They were passing the mic around, right? Like they kept showing the backstage of the Game Awards with this one particular woman, and then they give her a spotlight, and she only presents one reward, and then they just go to commercial.
Yeah, she had 3 spots, if I'm not mistaken, right?
But it was most of the time she was in the back, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then, when she finally got on stage, she got
sponsored by Verizon 5G.
Yeah. That's literally it.
I get why they had that, but man, it was it overused? Seeing the one guy and her sitting outside on a patio recording with their phone or something, seeing that clip, I think that was played 4 or 5 times. That was way
Adriana, the women's NBA player, Adriana.
Yes.
It's I get it. You're at the Game Awards. Do I care? No. Can we get back to the games, please?
It threw off the pacing.
Yeah, definitely.
I am going to say this though. I know, thank goodness there wasn't a flute guy there, but god damn it, that orchestra is so good. What I mean, look, like I said, I would literally pay to watch them play, because obviously at the end of the Game Awards, they leading up to as they're showing each game, they're playing music. They were absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, some of these winners too were very questionable. For example, Deathloop, it won best
art direction.
Art direction.
I thought that was stolen from Artful Escape. I thought that was stolen from Artful Escape. In my opinion,
I had Artful Escape high on that list, and I had Ratchet high on that list. I was like, or Psychonauts too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then here out of nowhere, Deathloop. I'm like, okay, is this game the new industry darling? Because they're just giving it awards that clearly it did not win for this year, but they gave Deathloop that. And as far as the winner of Game of the Year, I'm shocked that the dude who became a meme a couple years ago
after the
Oscars had a surreal moment and actually won Game of the Year, but also best multiplayer game.
Yes,
and
he won a couple awards.
He walked away with a lot of awards. He did good.
Raz should have threw a little door on Jeff Keighley's head, and they could have skipped the show.
I love Joseph winning that award so much because I'm sure you guys noticed during the show, Jeff Keighley announced one of the other awards that he won, and he's like, I learned to keep microphones away from this guy, right? And he walked up on stage and he still got the microphone.
And he still
Oh,
said F the
man.
Oscars, which I love it, by the way.
Well, the best part was
He
he was like, last time I said
love
F
it.
the Oscars, and
Oh.
the Oscars got F this time.
Yeah, and then he started talking about his kids and how much he loved his kids. And he's like, hey, if you
Go
don't have
get
kids, you should
some.
go out and get some.
Hey,
dude
make
is
it sound like
hilarious.
going to the grocery store and picking
Yeah.
up kids. Hey, go get some kids.
That's the beauty about it, though. Like, who would have thought this dude would be on the stage winning game of the year if you from that moment,
Yeah.
from that moment back here? And that's the crazy thing about it. I love that. Just that
You
whole-
know,
look at the
his
game
story
that he made.
leading
There's-
up to
You look
it.
yeah.
at the last two games. I mean, you're like, holy crap! You know, they were phenomenal. You
Yeah.
know, and then this year, obviously, it deserved it. And it's
Yeah,
just
it absolutely
funny.
did. It again, it's a game I bought day one. It's just it's some of his best work. But you know, you love to see the little guys and win. Like obviously, we know who he is now because of thanks to the award.
For a lot of reasons, we know who he is.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, you know, the jail game was phenomenal. It was done in a way that
A way out.
you know,
Hey,
way
boom.
out. We haven't played and anything. Yeah. What's up?
So,
Big Pop?
so we got Wonder Woman. She got her game, right? So
Yeah.
me and you waiting. Where's Punisher? Where's Spawn?
Dude.
Where's Spawn? I
don't know.
need that to happen, bro. I need these
mean,
games to happen. You know why I want these games to happen? Because first of all, what I heard from Shinobi said a single player, they're really going to go all out with this, kind of similar to Spider-Man in a sense, big driven story. So
Yeah, I
already
mean,
gonna kill
again,
it.
I love Wonder Woman as a character. Obviously, she's part of the Trinity. No, you know that makes up Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Look, I'll say this: at least it's not Rockstar making it.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Hey,
oh
Boom.
God, Rockstar
Boom.
almost spoiled everybody's mood. They're doing DLC for GTA 5 again.
But just for
Who
the
asked for it?
online, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
who
it's
asked
just for
for
online?
it?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think anybody asked for it.
Hey,
yeah.
Boom, reset the footage. We're getting awfully close to something.
Oh, you know what? Hold on a
Reset the
sec.
footage, yeah.
Yeah, no
I'm
spoiler
just-
alert.
Yeah, let me just you know what? Let me bring in a Crispy on this. Crispy, obviously there was a lot shown. What of the games that we talked about excited you the most? That literally like shocked you personally. You're like, oh my god, I can't believe this was here.
Nothing really like shocked me. Whoa.
Sorry about that.
Nothing really like shocked me a lot. I will say I was surprised to see Wonder Woman. Definitely, you know, with her skill set, definitely intrigued about that. Suicide
What do you think about
Squad.
Crossfire X? We finally get a chance to, and we get a release date, no less.
I'll play the single player. I mean,
Yeah, me too. I'm not playing the multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
TLS.
pretty sure they're probably going to try to refine that multiplayer. So, you know, just because you want to, you know, make it better than what I've seen like first-person shooter fans played and did not like. So, you know, the multiplayer, you know, hopefully they do something to, you know, get people back into that. Because at the end of the day, yeah, campaign, but you know, they're trying to, you know, have longevity, and that comes
Come on,
down to
Crispy,
multiplayer.
you're forgetting your favorite game of the show. What's going on here? You're not even mentioning it. Leatherface.
What?
Wasn't you hyped in the chat
Leatherface?
for Leatherface? Because Leatherface getting into
Demi's
multiplayer
definitely
game?
looking forward to that.
Well, isn't there's something else about Leatherface? It wasn't on the Game Awards. I think they're coming out with a series or a movie. I don't remember.
Oh
I
yeah,
saw that
Netflix.
recently.
Something for Netflix.
Yeah. I think it's a series on Netflix. I'm interested in that because they really have not done that story justice, because it's a pretty screwed up story and needs somebody to do it right. And hopefully
like
the
Scream
game
5, right? Because Scream 5 is looking amazing. I would want something like that for Leatherface.
Yeah, you can they haven't done it well enough to say, hey, you can't, you know, you can't touch this again. So somebody needs to reinvent it a little bit. The Halo series, I'm super hyped for.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
you know, just the way it looks. Sonic, we're definitely we're going as a family to go see that, because the first one surprised the hell out of me.
Yes,
it was a
me
lot
too.
of fun. And definitely with you on Knuckles, Idris Elba. He nails that. You know, that gravitas that Knuckles has. So, you know, it was a good show. You know, the pacing was it was good at times. I thought the pre-show wasn't bad. I was actually surprised about that.
That was the best part.
A lot of people with Tunic, I saw a lot of people going nuts that they saw that again and got a date. So, I mean, there's a lot of great things that we saw. It was too long. I think we all can agree on that.
Yeah.
So, they got to tighten it up a little bit, but he's trying to be the Oscars. He really is. And you know what? You can't hate on it because at the end of the day, gaming does deserve that type of,
I agree.
it deserves that. Like I said, and that's where the time it's like, yeah, the Oscars can run like 3 hours. Like I've seen it plenty of times. So, tighten it up, 2.5 hours maximum. And if you're going to go that long, you should have started earlier. Cause I mean, you got a lot of kids, or do it on a Friday. You know what I'm saying? Because he was sitting there falling asleep on the couch at the end. So
The
I was
Game
like,
Awards.
I
the Game
was
Awards.
dead. I was done.
Crispy, the Game Awards is just trying to grow up. Unfortunately, a lot of its audience refuses to do so.
Yeah,
That's
no,
a good
it's you're definitely telling the truth for sure. Anything else you'd like to add before we move on to Noof Nukem there, Crispy?
No, I think it was a great celebration at the end of the day, and I look forward to all these games that are coming out. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I think 2022 is going to be, it's packed, man. It is packed with games. A lot to get excited about on all fronts, not just with Xbox,
Sony
not
has
just with PlayStation.
Sony has some good showcase for it. They gave you an updated look at Horizon.
Horizon looked phenomenal.
Yeah,
They
looked
showed all the
phenomenal.
different environments. I thought it was very well done because it transitioned so quickly.
Yeah, but here's where they kind of killed me, and I was literally about to fall asleep because I was literally on the verge of sleeping when we were going watching the show, and that's because the show kept dragging on and on and on. It was a lot of stuff that I didn't care for. It was putting me to sleep, but the game that damn near put me to sleep. And like took a jab to me was Chia. I don't know if y'all remember that game. They showcased gameplay for Chia. I'm like, why is that here again?
Yeah, that could have been like pre-show, right?
Yeah, like why is that here? In fact, I don't even think they had a pre-show. They just got right to the main show. It felt like they got to the main show because
it was 30 minutes before.
30.
It was quick. It was quick, but I thought it was okay. Yeah,
It's
I don't know.
more you know.
No, let's get your opinion. What of the games that I mentioned that you saw shocked you that were there? What was some of the other highlights for you personally?
Well, some of my highlights, obviously, Wonder Woman. I think it's great that she's going to finally get her own game, and hopefully they can do it justice. And it's going to be by Monolith, so I think they're in good hands. And let's hope it turns out to be a phenomenal game. I was kind of impressed that, of course, the Matrix Revelations, that tech demo drops in the middle of the show. Hey, you can go and play it on your X and your PS5 and all that stuff. And like I said, I was blown away with that. And unless you go and check that out yourself, it's hard to know what I'm talking about. But there isn't a lot to play in it overall. But my God, just the direction of where games are going to take us over the next few years is just staggering. There was a lot of great games to see this year. I mean, obviously, Hellblade, a big standout right there to finally get, an actual glimpse of what this game could end up being, how it's going to look. Big surprise as well, seeing Elden Ring, the most anticipated game 2 years in a row, and not taking away anything from it. From Software delivers phenomenal games, whether you love them or hate them. That trailer looked absolutely dynamite. Holy mackerel. Like you said, there was a lot of crazy stuff like Slitterhead and that was
definitely
a
off
lot
the
of
wall,
enough stuff.
Hey,
We got to see another trailer for Dying Light 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a weird person in my comment section when we were doing the nominations for all these stuff, like get votes for it. Dude was like, "Oh, how can you put Elden Ring as the most anticipated game over God of War?" I'm like, maybe
they voted on that, dude.
I mean, maybe because Bloodborne is one of my all-time favorite games. On top of that, there's more appeal here with this game.
It's also
right
a multi-plat, right? So
it?
it appeals to more people. You got to take that into account too. So more multi-plat people voting. I mean, my pick, yes, would still be God of War Ragnarok, my personal pick for anticipated, but you can't really go wrong. Again, that's the whole thing about award shows too. Just like your taste in games, it's all subjective. Zemi brought up a great one earlier. Obviously, like we saw Plague's Tale Requiem, right? Looks phenomenal. I played that game. One of the biggest surprise games I think that come out in the last 5 or 6 years. One of those games that just you have to play it to appreciate it. It's just amazing. It takes you on an experience that I don't think any of us have quite played like that in a while. I mean, the way they did the rats and how it almost made your skin crawl. This game will probably do it much more justice. Just amazing, and the ingenious ways you had to obliterate them. But, there was just a lot to like about this show. And I've said this many times, whether you love Keeley or you hate Keeley, you got to applaud the man for being one of the few voices that we have that trying to elevate gaming to another level, to highlight the top of the industry. You know, he gets so much crap because of, you know, the little things, but give the man some credit. You know, music's got how many award shows? Movies got how many award shows? And this is the biggest industry on the planet from entertainment standpoint, and it still gets treated like a kid's toy. Like, oh, you guys play games. Games are so silly. Like, even today, the adults around us, other than the gaming people that we hang out with, they still look at us like we're a bunch of buffoons and morons. What are you buying that crap for? What a waste of money. Could you not find something better to do with your time? And you're like, what? So you'd rather, you know, spend your $20 smoking a joint and acting like a buffoon down at the bar. Okay, that's your shtick. But I'd rather sit there and take my $20 and invest it on a great indie game or put it on some DLC. That's just how we like to have fun. And you know what? If people would actually give it a chance, they'd actually learn that gaming is getting more adaptable and acceptable by audiences all over the world. It's no longer you have to have crazy dexterity with every controller. Sure, it helps, and you will learn it in time. Heck, remember when dual analog sticks first came out on the controllers?
Oh, God, yeah.
And it was very foreign to us all because all we had up to that point was like the N64, and even that was kind of weird at first, going from a 2D touchpad, then all of a sudden you had an analog stick and had full 360 movements. I'm getting off track, but you know what I'm saying? Like, Keely's doing wonders. Yeah, the show, I think that I guess the sort of the sad part in a way is that the awards are almost a sideshow to the actual sizzle reel and the trailers and everything else that comes in between. It's getting a bit more like that, like a little bit long in the tooth. Maybe he wants to shorten it up just a bit, make it more on point. Not everything needs to be shown off at this show. Perhaps he could show more in an after awards thing, like on his own YouTube channel or something. Like, here's more. I'd like to see some of the talented creators get a little bit more time in the spotlight and hear what they got to say and things like that. But to each their own. There's always something at every award show that you're going to like. There's always a great trailer. There's always a new unexpected thing of the world premiere. There's always something for everybody to like at these shows. And sometimes, sure, they're a little bit more skewed or centric toward an Xbox or perhaps PlayStation, depending on what's coming down the pipe. But I think no matter what, whether you're a Nintendo fan, PlayStation fan, or Xbox fan, my God, the next 2 or 3 years could legitimately set themselves up as some of the best years in the industry. Once this COVID junk hopefully starts phasing out and teams can really get their teeth into games again. I mean, even one of the girls said it best, just be grateful any games came out in the last friggin' year and a half. Right?
Absolutely,
yeah, a lot came out broken, and I suspect a large part of some of the problems were the fact that teams had to scramble, they had to make sacrifices, they didn't have people. We're reading about this about Halo 2 now, like where teams had, you know, they were contracted and they left. And I mean, it's like anything. If you're even at a regular workplace, we all know that when you start losing integral people of your workforce day in and day out, what does that mean? Someone's got to pick up the slack, someone's got to relearn things, someone's got to retrain things. It is not easy to replace good people in any industry, let alone a game that spans that are massive like these games we play today. So, like, give them some. But the award show is amazing, and I was super excited and super thrilled that my personal pick of the year became game of the year with It Takes Two, because I can't say enough how much fun I had with that game this year. And, you know, I heard somebody say, well, I kind of watched somebody play it and I'm not getting it. I don't understand. Dude, it's like watching Halo Infinite. You got to play it. You got to play it, and you got to play it with the right person. Play it with somebody that's fun. I had the pleasure of playing with Assassin Lupa, and my God, unbelievable. She swore at me. We laughed, everything. And, of course, you can imagine Lupa when she sweared, right? Oh, you're such a prick. Oh, wish you'd have done that better. You know. So what a time we had, and that's what It Takes Two is all about. And that's, I think, what elevated it a little bit more, perhaps, than some of the other games in the category, was how it really needs great co-op. How it's like a relationship, and that's what it emphasized is. Yes. Like relationship. The best relationships work when you can come together, make compromises, and help each other, and not bicker at each other. And that's kind of funny because in the game, it uses a married couple going through some of their own problems, trying to make their way back to their little daughters, and sort of stranded on her own in a house. You know, it's kind of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in a way, right? Yes. Like that game kind of reminds me of that. And just the genius level design and the phenomenal graphics. The graphics don't get enough love. That game looks absolutely incredible. I mean, how stuff is rendered, and I can't say enough. But anyway, I've spoken too long in this. I thought it was a pretty damn good award show. Heck, I like them everywhere. You know what? If I didn't like them, I wouldn't watch them. I'll sit through the 3 and 4 hours. Yeah, there's boring parts, but you know what? Everything has boring parts. Even E3 has that moment where you're gonna go. Right, and you come back. So it's all like that. It's pretty hard to do an award show and please everybody. But I'm also glad they didn't really overdo the whole esports thing. I get it's important on its
Yeah,
own
they got all that
aspect.
out the way in the pre-show.
Yeah, but thank God it just didn't take up a big chunk middle way through the show. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Hey,
we have Dreadpool.
Boom.
Yeah, what's up, Crispy? I mean,
Oh,
Big Cloud.
no. You know what I wanted though, and I'm surprised we could. Well, even though I'm not surprised, I would have loved an update for Callisto Protocol because we got Dead
Oh
Space.
yes,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
that would have been great. Yeah.
That's one thing.
I mean, listen, there were a few big misses there that we didn't get. Harry Potter being one of them. Like, what the hell is going on with that game, man? Like, wow.
I need it. I need it in my life.
Yeah, I know you do, and you're gonna be. I know
I
you're
just
gonna
need confirmation. That's what I need. Like, for
It
example,
won't
can
see me for a
you?
week.
No, I'm saying like I need confirmation that you can literally explore every inch of this castle, like whether it be
Dude, I
underwater,
hope that you can.
whether it be like you can find the Chamber of Secrets. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you can learn different spells or different slangs, like possible stuff. That'd be cool if you can actually learn this stuff and unlock secrets in Hogwarts. There's a lot in Hogwarts a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the room of requirement and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
Zema reads that book series all the time. Real quick, we got to shout out 2 super chats that came in. Splendiferous, generous friend of the show. He drops, I believe it was a $2 super chat. Let me get into the private chat and get that over here. He says, after dropping a $2 super chat, Alan Wake 2 was a big surprise for me. Scary stuff. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. We also have Andy Hart drops a £5 super chat, says downloading the Matrix now for my Series S today. Next Gen Hellblade blew my mind. Also, Alan Wake 2 and Warhammer Space Marines 2. Yeah, that's the one that's also been a long time since the original. That looked really good. And we also have Gamer by Choice drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, just showing my support. And this is a great show. Well, thanks, brother. And Killantis drops a $2 super chat and says, Hellblade 2 looked fantastic. Indeed, it did. But Fuzzy, and then we'll get to Dreadpool because what for you've heard everyone that their pick. What are your top picks for the Game Awards for the technically a 3.5 hour show if you count the pre-show? What jumps off the page for you personally?
For me, the only thing that really, I mean, other than like from an excitement standpoint, really enjoyed the showing for Hellblade 2 was kind of, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Psychonauts 2 won anything, which was kind of disappointing and surprising.
I have to agree with you there. Yeah, it actually it did not win nothing. And I actually thought that was going to be the one game, kind of like Deathloop, that kind of swept a little bit, because of its of its appeal to so many people, calling it their game of the year. It didn't. Yeah, that was a little surprising.
Now, I will say I understand the lead actress for Lady Dimitrescu winning for the performance. I was kind of rooting for Colt on that one, but I understand why she won on that as well.
That woman broke the internet by herself.
But,
Where did she won that?
Yeah, there was just so well the pacing, even though for a long show overall the pacing wasn't bad, but they could have shortened up some things. I'm glad, like a few of you guys mentioned, they put the esports on the pre-show. A game that was shown in the pre-show, which me being an old PC player, I'm kind of surprised because I never expected them to do another Homeworld. Like, I was a big fan of Homeworld 1 and 2. Seeing that there's going to be a Homeworld 3, a lot of people, if you're not familiar with Homeworld, think of RTS, Star Wars kind of, or Star Trek kind of game, but with a lot of action, and you can basically build your own fleet or armada to kind of defend yourself or take over the galaxy kind of deal. But that I was pretty stoked for. PC only would be nice for console, but I can understand being an RTS, yeah. And you can have like hundreds, if not thousands, of ships. And that might be a little too much for the consoles, even the next gen ones right now. Arc Raiders was another standout for me. I know they had kind of showed like a quick snippet like the day before, the Embark Studios and stuff. It's a interesting sci-fi looking game that it looks like it's going to be kind of like I hope it's not like a service game, but it looks like it's like a co-op game, but not like your co-op normal shooter like Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood type of thing. But it has kind of like a Division in space kind of feel to me, or at least the look of it. So I'm looking forward to seeing more info on that. There was only a couple of, I wouldn't say disappointments or misses. I was hoping to see something from Compulsion.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I had heard a rumor from a connection of mine that game was going to be shown. Now we don't know if Microsoft pulled it at the last minute because they've been known to do that.
Yeah. So they might be saving that for like a year-end event, which may not have been announced. I know that there's like a fan fest thing coming out on the 12th.
Yes.
So we'll see if there's anything there. But it would have been nice to at least give it, more eyes.
Yeah.
But it's great that they put Hellblade 2 out there. It would have been nice to see something for Fable or Avowed as well. But once again, I guess either those are further out, or they just want to, I guess put more of the spotlight on Hellblade at this point in time, and then, after that, kind of not wanes off, but after that levels out, maybe they'll show Compulsion's game. Was hoping to see an additional game from PlayStation, although the Chia one was not the one I was looking forward to.
Yeah, not the right time.
But yeah, I know Forspoken, like that's a game like, and people are going to probably look at me sideways for this. I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy fan, and there are some Final Fantasy vibes, but there's a little bit more to Forspoken as far as the overall look and combat that I'm kind of digging right now. So it was nice to see some more of that. So I'm probably more on board with Forspoken as opposed to just writing it off as, oh, it's something that PlayStation made a deal with Square and we'll never see it over on Xbox.
No, they have it, I think, for 2 years actually. It's pretty lengthy exclusive.
Yeah, but it still has a cool look to it, and I'm interested to see more of that game. Forza did get some awards. They didn't get the nomination.
They won 2. I'm pretty sure of it. They won
the one was big.
Accessibility
audio
was big. Yeah.
And I'm assuming that a lot of that was like with the ray trace audio definitely helped. And then they also did get the sports / racing.
Didn't they win best audio design or something like that?
Yeah. Because with their ray trace audio and how they went about that and how they implemented it into the game, and how the radio and the exhaust and all those various things change depending on where you're at and what's around that it can bounce off of and stuff like that. That makes sense. I'm glad to see Returnal got an award for best, I think it was like action adventure game or action game, which it's good to see that they got something out of the deal. But I'm kind of sad that Psychonauts didn't get anything or take anything home. But good show. Was hoping for a few more unveilings, but the ones that we got were pretty damn good. So that's all I got.
Yeah. Crispy, did we get your opinion on this, brother?
Yeah, we're good.
We did. Okay, so real quick, let me just catch up to the super chats that jumped in. Gamer by Choice drops an additional $5 super chat and says, I was listening. I was interested that Forza Horizon 5 won Best Audio, and on the side note, Sports Game of the Year. I would have thought the other way around. Yeah, it's funny because that kind of was like, because I look, that category is kind of crummy. I'm going to be honest with you. Racing should kind of have its own thing. It should be its own thing. But there's a lot of racing games. Some years have 5, some have none. Right. So go figure. But it did walk away with two trophies. That's great. Andy Hart drops an additional £5 super chat. Says, anyone on the panel have a Series S, and does the panel think it will last a generation? Yes, I bought a Series S and X at launch. I've used it numerous times. That thing has massive legs for a multitude of reasons. That little thing is extremely powerful, and
Yeah.
at its price point, you can't beat it.
And just to also add, I think you can make the argument that the Xbox One generation can last in this generation as well,
Because
with
of
the
the
right
cloud
circumstances,
gaming.
because of the cloud, gaming and streaming that will be coming out or has come out for it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, listen, folks, we are going to close out today's show with outros. I want to thank, we had almost 450 people here today, which is bonkers. Thank you so much for coming out, hanging out. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, folks. I'm like 700 and change away. I wish it was 70 or 7 away from 10,000. 700 and change away. If you enjoy the content, man, please consider subscribing. And if you enjoyed today's program, please, by all means, hit the like button. That actually helps more than you actually know. Brian Hopkins jumps in at the last minute with a $5 super chat. Says, "Good morning, Boom and panel. I got the Alan Wake 2 reveal I was hoping for, but sure was hoping that we'd see Skate 4 maybe at E3. Thanks for the show." Well, yeah, Brian, I'm looking forward to the next Skate game as well, but at least we did get, in fact, Alan Wake 2. But let's start with the outros. And Zemi Games, we're going to start with you first, brother. Where could people reach out to you on social media? And of course, where could people check out ConstantGamer.com and subscribe to your growing YouTube channel?
Yeah, absolutely. So my YouTube channel is called Constant Gamer. I create a ton of gaming related content, like gaming news, theory videos, reviews, that type of stuff. So if that's the type of content that you'd like to watch, stop by the Constant Gamer YouTube channel, watch some videos, and if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. Additionally, I'm also on Twitter at Zimmy Games, and I post pretty much the typical stuff that you would expect someone like me to post. So if I find an interesting gaming article, I usually post it out there for people to see. But I also post food pics every now and then as well. So, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Zimmy Games. Boom. Once again, thanks for the invite. I super appreciate, coming back on the Breakfast with Boom podcast and, discussing the Game Awards with you guys. And I'll see you guys next Tuesday on the Xbox Factor.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you. Of course, Noof Nukem, let's get you on out of here because we know you got to go before a little after 12. Brother, you got a show coming up on Sunday morning, which I happen to be a guest panelist. We're going to be talking about the Game Awards, probably covering some of the stuff that we did not cover here. Tell everyone about that Sunday show and where can people reach out to you on social media.
Absolutely. It's Good Morning Xbox, which goes 9 Eastern on my YouTube channel. Mr. BoomStick XL will be our special guest, and we will talk about a variety of aspects from the show and perhaps a different perspective. We'll also get Mr. BoomStick, probably his more in-depth view. It's a little easier for him to chat, I'm sure, when he doesn't have to operate so many panels and buttons and all that good stuff. But we're looking forward to your first ever appearance on this particular podcast. I know my panel members are very excited about it as well. When you can't find me there, or when you don't find me there, you can find me Tuesday nights hanging out with the middle-aged game guy and Titan Drago for Gaming After Dark. So we'll have a lot to talk about this week, I'm sure, and we'll definitely have some interesting takes from all of our cast of characters and all that stuff. And I guess before I go, it was asked earlier in the chat, is Arnold in the building? He's always
in the building. He's always creeping. Arnold, are you there, brother?
Well, I wanted to say the only disappointing thing about the whole game was is that I was not nominated in any category. It's crazy. Even when I'm not making movies, I should still be nominated for the best outstanding actor, the best action hero, and all of that good stuff. I don't know why that, Xbox or somebody hasn't reached out to me to come out there and do a presentation. I want to do it. So make sure the next time you vote for Arnie, I'm going to be in your house. I will come and get you. I'll find you. That is exactly what I do. Anyway, guys, great show. Mr. BoomStick, you're killing it. Your panel was awesome today. Crispy Bomb, keep up the good work, sir. I'm coming for you, too. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's get out of here. Have a great day, everybody, and an awesome weekend. See you on Sunday.
Thank you so much for that, Arnold. Always appreciate that. And yes, the 50 cents check is in the mail. Make sure you cash it and do not let it bounce. But real quick, Fuzzy Belvedere. Brother, you are on a multitude of shows. By all means, tell everyone where they can hear your incredible gaming opinions on other shows, your YouTube channel where they can subscribe, and more importantly, where can people reach out for a conversation on social media?
Well, I want to thank you, Boom, for inviting me on here. It was awesome being with you guys. Chat was always awesome to interact with you guys, and I'm enjoying gaming right now. It's I know my podcast mate Pong Song always says this is the golden age of gaming. It truly is. It's something special right now. We got a whole bunch of stuff to look forward to in the gaming space. But for those that want to hear my ramblings or see my social media posts on Twitter, you can follow me at fuzzy_Belvedere. It's my same PSN on my PSN on PlayStation. My gamer tag on Xbox is Fuzzy Space Belvedere. You can also find me on the Tidbits show on Mondays with Mav on Fun Speculations channel, where it's week in game reviews. Some of those that may have flown under the radar. We try to highlight some of those games that you may have missed that you may want to pick up when they come out that week. You can also find me on FSP, Fun Speculation Podcast, on Saturdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with Mav and Just Key, basically going over games we've been playing on all the platforms: PC, Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox. And then later that night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can find me on the Shop Podcast with PTK Blam, Pong Soul, and Centurion 1307, basically talking shop on the latest that we've come across in gaming news throughout the week and stuff. But thank you for having me. It's been awesome being here. This is so much fun.
Absolutely, brother. And Crispy Bomb, why don't you tell everyone what other shows you're on, and more importantly, where can people strike up a conversation on social media?
Always a pleasure, gentlemen. Shout out to the chat. Got a little guest spot tomorrow night, 6 p.m. I'll be joining the Dragon's Den, my brother
Nice.
Lemon. So, that's going to be fun. I know it will be. We always have some good conversations on Xbox Live. So this is just going to trickle right down, and the Game Awards will be evident, and I'm sure we'll find other stuff to talk about because it was a 3-hour show. So there's plenty to talk about here.
There's plenty to talk
At
about.
Crispy Bomb on Twitter, Crispy Bomb 28, Xbox Live. My regulars are the Retro Renegades, 7 p.m. Tuesday night. We have the next podcast Thursday night, 8 p.m. Of course, back here on Breakfast with Boom, Friday, 10 a.m.
Well, thank you so much, brother. As you can see, I finally got that damn 5,000 point sign. What a pain in the ass that one was. BitCloud Gaming, brother. Listen, I don't think you need an introduction, but you're going to get one nonetheless. Not only are you at 10K, not only are you working with IGN, not only did you work with Jeff Keighley, by all means, brother, tell everyone about your podcast, your weekly show, which is normally Friday afternoons. And where could people strike up a conversation on social media?
Oh yeah, man. Thanks for having me as always. Shout out to the panel. Zemi, everybody, good to see you. It's been a hell of a year. We talk this all the time. It's been one hell of a year, and gaming's looking great. 2023 is going to be even more.
It's going to be bonkers for everybody.
2022 is looking good, but yeah, lots happened on the side, man. I'm literally. Funny you mentioned IGN. I'm literally submitting the rest of my stuff as we're doing the show. That's why I get muted. But no, it's cool. It's how the opportunities that's been happening, and hopefully we can do a show today. We'll see. I'm not sure. I don't want to say it's here and then I can't do it. I ain't doing that. So
yeah, right. You'd rather just not say anything and then just surprise everybody with a show.
Exactly. I'd rather be certain before I say anything. But you guys want to follow me as BitCloud Gaming, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. There you always catch my takes on everything. We stream the Game Awards. We have fun. Crispy pulled up, which I was surprised. He pulled up in his little cane. He was sitting there banging on the door. Like, yeah, he didn't think I saw it. I saw him in the chat, but no, it's always cool to see everybody in the chat. And I appreciate everybody. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks so much for that. And folks, obviously, if you're new to Double Barrel Gaming, please consider subscribing. If you enjoyed the program, hit the like button. And of course, I'm running out of here. Halo's on. I got to go play because, God damn it, that game is so good. Oh my God. It's like crack cocaine. I go to sleep thinking about it, folks. It's just so good. And the multiplayer is gonna suffer for me personally because I'm just going through. You gotta search the environments, man, because you find like these propaganda towers, stuff that you would never imagine would be in Halo is there in the open world, and it's just so good. Oh, and here's a quick tip, folks. I love using a rocket launcher, but it only has 4 rounds.
Yeah.
If you run out of ammo, do
You better have
not
a backup.
discard it. Fast travel back to one of your FOBs and you reload it. Automatically gets reloaded. That's a little bit of a tip that I didn't notice that. I had, I think, 1 in the chamber left. I went back and I wound up having 5 because it gave me 4. It refilled it. So yeah, all your weapons will refill there besides being able to get vehicles. But folks, listen, thank you so much for the super chats. Those allow Mrs. Boomstick and I to do the big giveaways. Next Friday's show is going to be Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick, folks. $500+ of both physical and digital prizes. All you got to do is show up. I'm going to try and make a big panel for that. We're going to have a lot of fun. That is probably going to be the last show of the year for me. I'm going to take a 2-week break just to enjoy gaming, but I will be dropping at least, I'm going to try to get at 1, but potentially 2 X-Vlog videos per week for those 2 weeks that I take off, because those, you don't got to get a panel. It's just me, writing a script and talking about a specific Xbox topic. So I'll probably do at least 2 of those per week and put them out as premieres, but I do want to kind of just take the last 2 weeks off to enjoy the holidays, spend time with Mrs. Boom, my family, and kind of just, let the batteries recharge. But yes, next week you're getting prime time gaming on Monday. On Tuesday, you're getting the Xbox Factor podcast. And on Friday, you will get the very special Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick, where we're giving away $500+ worth of prizes. We hope that all you got to do to win, folks, is be in the chat, and we'll pick you. We'll let the picker pick you, and if you win, if it's physical, we'll get it out that weekend to you. If it's digital, we mail it out immediately to either an email or, of course, a DM. But folks, I'm going to close out the show with something that is important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught me with kids. And I say it every show, and I never get tired saying it. He said, son, treat others how you want to be treated. Also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, and I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. Enjoy gaming on whatever you enjoy gaming on. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom.